Well, Pacelli and Boomer, they grizzled and gray, talking about Star Wars from back in the day. Got a talk show called Geeky, and it's true, spinning old tales about the stuff that went through. From Atari to Trek, they know every line. Geeky has been feeling just fine. Late Savvy's got a lightsaber, swings it with pride. Boomer's got a game but plays it deep in the night. They're ranting about He-Man and old X-Men too. On Geeky, they're the nerdiest crew. Talking Transformers toys that twist and they turn. Singing blues for the geek life, their hearts still burn. Oh, Geeky as they're living the dream. Talking comics and movies, they're busting the scenes. From Battlestar reruns to D&D lore, they're preaching the gospel of geek evermore. Pacelli and Boomer, they'll never grow old. Geeky geezers with hearts made of gold. They're sitting in the studio, mics turned up loud, reminiscing about Super Friends, feeling so proud. Pacelli loves Spider-Man, Boomer's for Hulk. They argue about Star Trek with passion and both. From Betamax tapes to their old D20s, Geeky is where the nostalgia flows. They got fans in the chat, from the young to the old, tuning in to hear stories that never get told. Talking Ghostbusters, proton packs, toys in the box, and Saturday mornings with cartoons that rocks. Pacelli and Boomer, they're keeping it real. Geeky is with that old school feel. Oh, Geeky as they're living the dream. Talking comics and movies, they're busting the scenes. From Battlestar reruns to D&D lore, they're preaching the gospel of geek evermore. Pacelli and Boomer, they'll never grow old. Geeky geezers with hearts made of gold. They're singing the blues for the games that they play, for the VHS tapes and the arcades that pray. But the spirits are young, though their hair's turning white. Geeky geezers keep the nerd fire alight, so tune in each week to the Geeky Geezer Show, where Pacelli and Boomer let the good times flow. From X-Files to X-Men, they're dropping the news, singing praises of geek life with them old blues. Pacelli and Boomer, forever they'll be Geeky Geezers living wild and free.
Hello everyone, welcome to Geeky Geezers. I'm your host, Agent Boomer. This is my co-host, Papa Pacelli.
Hello.
This is my other co-host, Netter of Netters Network, also known as the Geezette.
Good evening.
I don't know,
Yeah,
man.
that was the show. Thanks, everyone. Good night.
I'm telling you, I feel like, you know what? Maybe turn on the X-Bone and just it's one of these weeks where I'm like, nothing's happening.
I know.
It's
I know.
like,
well,
we got stories. Don't worry. Don't leave. Okay?
Let's be honest. This is a holiday week, so if it's a light week, I'm not surprised. But let's just be thankful that we've made it this far. That the year's almost over. Another one's about to begin.
Yeah, I mean,
and my birthday's coming up next
your
month.
Birthday's
so,
coming up soon.
Birthday.
That's true. Yeah.
We'll have a nice birthday celebration for Netter. Okay.
Yep.
I was just what I wanted to say behind the scene. I was trying to make up. Remember when you and I were growing up, though, we thought of the box office, and it was always about who was number one at the box office, right? And they were the winner, and they made all the money.
It was simple. The one that made the most money must have done the best. Therefore, they were the winner.
Now, whoever wins number one at the box office, no, not necessarily. They might still be the winning loser. That's what.
See, this is, and we were kind of talking about this behind the scenes. This is why they say that ignorance is bliss. The more you know, the more the less you can. Okay, so Netter and I like to watch, for example, Penn and Teller's Fool Us, right? And Netter knows that I used to, study sleight of hand and magic and illusions with Jerry G. Bishop, the original Svengoolie. And so she'll ask me, well, actually, Netter's actually gotten pretty good. She figures out how a lot of these tricks are done. But then when she's really stumped, she'll go, how is this done? And usually I go, well, I can't be certain. I'm sure they've got their own flair. But if it was me, blah, 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 and I lay out how the trick is done. And then we listen to what Penn Jillette says. and he talks in like, you know, he doesn't want to give the trick away, but he talks in a way that the illusionist himself should understand whether or not Penn knows how the trick is done.
Right.
And yeah, you guessed it. And I'm like, yep, I was right. Or, oh, I didn't think of that. That's another way you could do it. Because usually with a lot of these illusions, there's more than one way to do it. Anyway, once
like
you know how the trick is, well, what I'm getting at is once you know how the trick is done, you can't unknow it. And the illusion is broken. And it's, I mean, I'm still impressed by magicians, how they do things. Even when you know how they're done, it's still very impressive. But you can't believe that it's magic anymore. And that's how I feel about knowing how the movie industry works now. Well, the entire entertainment industry. It's not enough to be the one that made the most money, because I can have a lot of money in my checkbook, but if I owe more than I actually have in my checkbook, I'm still broke. And that's kind of what you realize as you get older with a little bit of wisdom. It doesn't matter if you made the most money, if you also spent the most money making that movie, if you also spent, you know, more than anyone else on marketing, if you had a lawsuit that you have to pay off or pay out of court or settle or whatever the case is, all of these overhead things take away from that bottom line. And so you could be the $1 billion film that still loses money. Believe it or not.
I'm still trying to figure out, was Superman a success or not, and I can't get a straight answer.
I would have to say that if there's any question, the answer has to be no. Yeah. Otherwise, it would be absolutely yes, and you couldn't dispute it.
This is like me trying. It's like when you find out how hot dogs are made, the illusion gets shattered, right? I'm sorry. Wait a minute.
Well, that's what. Yeah, you don't want to know how the sausage is made. You know. Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely right.
Anyway, welcome everybody. Let me say hi to the chat. We got Netter of Netters Network, who's also in our studio, talking about the membership drive for Troy Pacelli's network. Please, for last call, if you want just $1.99 a month, it comes with some many perks. In fact, I believe you're watching a movie tomorrow night, right?
We will be. Normally, the members get to choose the movie, but this happens. I get busy. I didn't get a chance to get a poll put together, but based on our conversation on Friday, I think we're going to end up watching, because a lot of people said they haven't seen it. I was surprised how many people hadn't seen Logan's Run.
You can see if it's prescient.
Are a lot younger than us.
Well, some are that true,
are
but
the geezers.
I guess I'm surprised.
Youngins.
I guess I'm surprised by the ones that are the same age and haven't seen it. I'm like, really, that movie? I mean, okay, maybe you haven't seen all of Logan's Run, right? All of Jenny Five or whatever, but you certainly have seen it replayed over and over again on commercial television, edited for content. But
boo, like Phoebe Cates in Fast Times, what was on television.
Yeah, isn't that a disappointment? You're like, she's getting out of the pool, and you're like, yeah, and then it cuts to the next scene. It's like,
you know what's bizarre? There's an alternative TV cut of Fast Times Original High, which has different scenes in it, and I think on the Criterion Blu-ray they have like
all of them.
They have the television cut on there, I believe, and I've been always been curious to watch it because there are all these television cuts out there of movies we knew. This could have been a good old days. I should have thought.
There are. And this kind of falls into the same category. A lot of people call them television cuts, but that isn't necessarily why they exist. There is a cut. Well, there's cuts of certain scenes from the movie Shaun of the Dead on the DVD.
Right.
And they're not made for television. They are edited for a more general audience for airplane. Yeah.
Yes.
Because, I mean, you're watching a movie. Yeah, anyway. You get the idea.
Oh.
And there is a scene called the Funky Pete scene where the roommate is cussing out the friend and he just goes off with F this and F that, and it's so many F words. That's why it's definitely an R-rated film. But they changed all the lines in his rant. Instead of saying the F word, he says funk. Funking this, funking that.
Yep.
And then instead of being called, a rude word for a male member, he's called a prink. And honestly, it is so funny because nobody talks this way. You know what he means.
Yes.
And it just sounds so funny. The
So
first time I
bad.
saw it, I laughed so hard I was crying. I'm like, damn, you should just do this version when you release the movie. You don't always have to swear. Sometimes not swearing is fun.
You know what was
like
funny?
in Johnny Dangerously, same thing.
Yeah, or Blues Brothers, right? I wasn't lying to you. I was just bamboozling you. Oh my God,
Funny.
bamboozling is so funny.
It is. On the Crank DVD, the Jason Statham movie Crank,
Yeah.
it has an audio track on it, which is the airline version audio track, which you can play instead of the
Interesting.
regular cut, and it's ridiculous because, of course, it's the whole funk you or funk this, and yes.
That is so funny.
Oh,
I
it's so
love
bad.
it. I love it.
But I gotta say hi to the chat. Connie Cleary, welcome. Unscripted raid, yeah. Deleted scenes was talking about the Last Samurai. I assume he means like the last movie stars. I know he had Tom Cruise's picture up there, and I was like, no, there is another, and I'm thinking Brad Pitt. And that might be it.
Well, I'll be honest. You know what Netter and I have been watching this weekend?
Mm-hmm.
Wednesday. We've been watching that Netflix.
I've heard it's
series.
good. Yeah.
It is really good.
Yeah.
And I do think there can be good entertainment still. There just isn't a lot of it.
JPRPH1, welcome.
Yes, thank you for being a member for 17 months, my friend.
That is a good record. Keep it up.
Would not be the same without you, honestly.
Get a salute from Deleted Scenes. Welcome.
Salute.
And let me see here. Tree Rock Creations, welcome. Hello, Age Doomer. Well, you know what? I hate to break this to you. That might be where I'm headed, man. I don't know, man. This is just
we're gonna get into, especially this Friday. We're gonna be talking about Black Friday on Black Friday, and I just realized that I can make up frustration picks,
but part of me also thinks that we should just see your reaction to some of these stories. I want to see Troy's reaction on screen.
Okay.
I think you're going to get pissed at some of these.
I probably will.
At this stuff. Have a great day, geezers and geezette. Wishing everyone a safe and happy holiday week. Yes. Thanksgiving.
Fair enough. Thank you.
Jessica Gerhardo. If you see Birdman, say hi to him for me. Big Al.
Absolutely.
All right. And let me see. D. Pensak, good gracious, time for Geeky Geezers. Howdy, Aged Boomer. Last call. Hello. Let me see. And let's see here. D. Pensak, Geek Flag with Nate Knows. Welcome. Like, subscribe, comment, and become a member. Thank you, Geek Flag. Definitely.
Absolutely.
Geek Flag says, I don't want to know how the sausage is made. We probably don't.
Right.
That reminds me of the one story from Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. It was called Wonderful Sausage. Oh, you can guess what the ingredient was. Anyway, Kapla, welcome.
Soylent Green is people.
Well, the guy ground up his wife because he got annoyed with her, and then he started grinding up other people in town and putting that into the sausage, and it kept selling so well. Anyway, Depensec, welcome.
It's marketing. Just ask Sweeney Todd, right?
I need to watch that. That's another Johnny Depp film. No spoilers of the 1982 film roster. Don't ruin my childhood fun. Yes. You know what's interesting? Like we had other movie stars, but Hollywood decided to jettison them for bad reasons. Yeah. Like Johnny Depp, which he might get a resurgence now that he's been cast in some things finally. But that whole debacle with that trial and accusations and the fact whoever was in charge of Warner Media screwed up the Fantastic Beasts franchise by kicking him off it without any substantive reason. It just go ahead.
Look, the greatest lie that the devil ever told that you believed was to make you believe that he doesn't exist. The greatest lie the system ever told you was to make you believe that you can't resist. And the fact is you absolutely can. When I look and I see things turning around and I see people that were canceled unfairly and people starting to turn and say, no, we are no longer accepting this. Yes, if they did bad things and there's proof they did bad things, then they deserve, whatever punishment comes with that. If not, I'm sorry, you didn't prove your case. Pixar, it didn't happen. Get out of here.
Yes. Brad Lance made the most money, $136 million, on a reported $105 million budget. Okay, thank you for mentioning that, Lynn Green.
Right.
That's a movie I don't want to see anytime soon.
Well, and this is what I'm talking about. I mean, there's did it really make a profit? Was it as profitable as they would have you believe?
Well, they might not have spent as much money on it as some of those other things because it's a Predator movie, right? Maybe they just figure I don't know. Yeah. My favorite TV is Usual Suspects. Give me the stinking keys, you fairy godmother, brother bugger. That sounds actually rather nasty. I'm probably going to get a mark on YouTube.
Technically, yeah. Technically, if you think about it, brother bugger is actually a very bad thing when you really think about what you're actually saying. But yeah, it probably does get you past the censors. Yes, Wind River on Thanksgiving evening.
It's a good movie.
Good movie. Yeah.
All right, let's get in the presentation. Did you upload it?
I don't think I don't think I uploaded. Hold on a second.
Oh my goodness.
I forgot.
It's okay.
I'm sorry.
I should have mentioned it before the stream.
I'm
Can y'all guess what I'm going to talk about this week? It's related to one of the stories tonight, as it usually is. How you do? Well, Troy's how you doing, Netter? Are you excited for Thanksgiving? You gotta get making a turkey this year, or a ham, or some other kind of.
We're making a turkey.
Okay.
In fact, it's thawing right now in the refrigerator. I figure those things take days to thaw, so it's sitting in the fridge right now, getting ready to become dinner.
Oh.
We've already got all of our fixings, so it's just now a matter of closer to the day. I think on Wednesday we'll make the pies. And I don't know why we're making so many pies when there's just two of us, but we're making...
Because I have pie recipes I want to make.
We're making like 2 or 3 different pies. I know one of them's going to be apple, because I talked about making apple pie from scratch.
It's good.
And he's like, oh, that's a good idea.
But it's going to be an apple cranberry pie.
Okay.
And I think there's a cheesecake in there somewhere.
Well, not a cheesecake. Well, there is a pumpkin pie that I am making that is, it's a very old-fashioned style, probably different from what you're used to.
I like pumpkin pie.
I do too.
It's one of my favorite pies. I'll say this.
I'm just setting the parameters, and then we can get going. I apologize.
No, it's fine.
Let me put
Did
this
you know
in the background. Okay.
And let's see, cherry pie is a classic. Love that.
Oh yes, and I'm making a cherry pie too because
Agent Cooper.
Right, exactly.
We have a Twin Peaks story tonight.
We do, and so now we should. There we go.
Look
Sorry
at that,
about
geeky geezer. See,
cherries.
We got frozen cherries.
Oh, the frozen.
Yeah, I can work from frozen cherries.
I could have ranted about Jurassic World Rebirth for a couple minutes.
Well,
it wasn't terrible. It was fine. I mean, It was better than the last one. The last one was just awful. Was that Fallen Kingdom or Extinct? Whatever the last one was called, I don't even remember. The one where they brought back Dr. Grant and all them, and it was depressing. All right. For good old days, guess what we're talking about? You can probably guess from the top pick poster here.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. At least this was before they decided to make them teenage alien turtles or something. I don't know.
No, you're thinking of what they did over in England.
Teenage Mutant Turtles. where they couldn't, where they couldn't
ninja
say
stuff over there.
Ninjas.
That's another.
I was thinking about what's his name, Michael Bay, and his whole thing about making them aliens and teenagers and.
He had ideas that fortunately didn't make it into his produced versions. He did not direct those movies.
Good.
And for whatever reason, the Michael Bay produced ones get a lot of hate. I don't hate them. I think there are good things about them. But I'm not here to even talk about that or any other because Turtles would be like a 5-part Friday night thing. No, we're just going to talk about the original 1990 movie. I don't know if you ever saw this. Otherwise, I'm going to be the one doing most of the time.
I did. I
Okay.
absolutely did.
Okay.
Yeah, no, this was back when I did, have an interest in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Yeah.
Look at this poster, dude. This is no cartoon. Like
True.
The anticipation. Now, I know another big thing of the anticipation was I think was this. I could be wrong. Was this Jim Henson's last project that he was involved with?
I don't know. Maybe.
Because I know his.
Yeah.
I think it might have been. I think he might have died during the making of this. Yeah, it was a this was the Jim Henson Studios. I know they came up with a lot of the prosthetics and of course the Splinter puppet in this.
Yeah.
But there we are. This is the first live action Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. Who's your favorite turtle? Just out of curiosity.
Well, my favorite character, of course, is April O'Neil. But if I was going to say who my favorite turtle was, unfortunately, I'm not going by their characters. I'm going by the video game. I played Donatello all the time.
Yes.
With the bow staff.
Yes.
So
everyone loved Donatello in the game because he had the most reach.
Yes.
And the next reach, it would be Leonardo with the sword. And then Michelangelo, oddly enough, I think he was more personality-wise with me. But I got to tell you, I love Raph.
Yeah.
Raph has rage problems, and that's what I love about him. And I feel like nowadays they kind of try to downplay that because it's not good for young men to be angry, and it's like sometimes anger is a good thing if it's channeled properly. All right.
Yeah, but you have to learn how, and unless you have issues, and look, there are real people that have real problems with anger, right?
Yes.
So maybe you should deal with those things in our fiction. Show people the consequences of not dealing with anger, and maybe how to grow in that area.
And even though he has anger issues, I don't think he's so bad. Like, for instance, there's a scene in this movie where he's doing his whole vigilante thing. He wears the trench coat and the top hat, and he's going about the streets of New York City, and this woman gets her purse stolen, and he stops the guys, and I guess gets the purse back, the lady gets a purse back. But then he runs into another vigilante named Casey Jones, the guy that wears the hockey mask, and he's saying, I'm going to give you these punks a lesson, and he's like, they don't need it like that, not like that they do. Like, he's basically saying, no, you're going too far, and then the punks run away, and then they get into a fight, and then Casey Jones, I think he knocks him into a garbage can and calls him a freak, and that sets off Raph. He's like, freak! Because think about it, we have superheroes, and when you think of the Outsider, you think of like the X-Men, or maybe literally the Outsiders from DC Comics, but at least the X-Men are basically humans. I mean, these guys, they're turtles. I mean, they're...
Dude, this is absolutely a theme that everybody loves. This is why the X-Men were so popular. This is why we're loving Wednesday. I mean, it's the same kind of thing. It's a story about people that are outcasts, and in Wednesday's case, it's like she's an outcast among outcasts.
Exactly. So anyway, this was of course the big production, and people like Siskel and Ebert were very not kind to this movie, and I think people misunderstand that they made a movie with martial arts, and you have these guys in these prosthetic suits like the Howard the Duck suit, and they're having to also perform martial arts in them. Yeah. How difficult was that?
That really is incredibly impressive. I mean, in a lot of ways, especially with, look, I don't think you realize, not only are they wearing foam rubber suits, right?
Yes.
With the armor on the back and the chest. But those faces have like puppetry animatronics inside.
Yes.
That go through cables like down their butts, and they're tethered to somebody else.
Yeah, it's not like they just stuck a rubber mask on these guys. These are
right.
I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I believe it was the Jim Henson Productions were involved in a lot of this, and let's move on. And then, of course, you would have like a standard puppet, which is Splinter, right here.
And I'll tell you what, Splinter brings in all of the puppetry that you saw in things like the Dark Crystal and
Labyrinth.
Labyrinth, yeah, all of these things. Yeah, exactly.
And I remember when this came out, I did not catch this in the theater. I had it. I was late catching on the Turtle Mania. I was too much of a little snob. I want to say. I love Ghostbusters though, especially the Ghostbusters cartoon, and I often felt the Turtles had sort of a similar sensibility to them, at least in the movies and the cartoon. Like, we know that this situation is ridiculous. Okay, that you have Teenage Mutant. It's in the title, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and they're. I remember the first episode of the cartoon where this scientist says, "Oh, the ninjas made off with this super teleporter magnifier beam system," and she says, "And what does that do? I have no idea." That's all he just says. 'Cause,
I think that's great. It's like, I don't know, but it's stolen. We got to get it back.
Yeah.
Look, Tree Rock brings up a great point, and hold on to this point because we're going to come back to this. Do we have superheroes? In the 80s and 90s cartoons we did. In the present live action movies, I don't think so. Hold on to that because I'm going to make the argument that our love for superheroes was so great that there are people that still keep going to these movies hoping for and looking for the superheroes of our youth and not finding them. And I can demonstrate why I know that to be the case.
I want the Batman of my youth back. It's driving me nuts right now. I need the Batman of my youth now, and I feel like they're not giving him to me, and it's driving me nuts.
Because they don't understand it.
No, they think he's a nutcase. No, the problem is they think he's a nutcase. They think all these heroes are psychologically damaged people. And
the worst part about it is the people that believe that are the ones that are writing them, and they do have mental issues that they're working out through their stories.
I didn't see this movie in theater. I got it as a Christmas gift on VHS. That was a nice gift. Big fan of that. I had Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1 and 2 on VHS, not 3, Jesse Gajardo. Oh, wait, 3 wasn't good. Of course, I say 3 wasn't good. I'd probably watch it now and say, it's not that bad. Because it's
comparison. Yeah, because again, by comparison, because they keep getting worse.
All right,
keep defining deviancy down.
There we go. There's Casey Jones. I forget the actor who played him. Greek last name, I believe. We bring that up. But I like the fact that you have sort of another costumed hero in this universe kind of dealing with the Foot Clan and other things, right? Not just the Turtles. Like, other people have noticed that there's this group up to no good.
Horrorcat Dad says, no, TMNT 3 is still bad.
I guess, yeah. All right, let me see. Who the heck played? Sam Rockwell was in this movie?
Interesting.
Who the heck played Casey Jones? This is going to drive me crazy all night. Oh, Elias Koteas.
You were right.
Koteas.
Definitely a Greek name, no doubt about that. Yeah.
But anyway, Real Family Movie. Well, here's the deal. There is violence in this movie, but it's not.
It's almost cartoonish.
Well, in some ways. I mean, the villains are nasty. Let's be honest. And this is an evil group, the Foot Clan. Right. There's April O'Neil. This is when they switch actresses on. I guess it's hard to find redheads too. But I think she was a redhead. Let me see here. Going on to there's the Foot Clan. So, my favorite supervillain, of course, Goldfinger might finally be taking the cake now that I read Goldfinger. But for a while, it's been the Shredder, even beyond like the Joker or my favorite Marvel villains, the Kingpin. I think I might pick the Shredder all of them because he's just terrifying. And this is, of course, the Foot Clan. And what they were doing in this movie is they were getting all the juvenile delinquents and say, "Hey, would you like to become part of our ninja clan?" You know, and that's how they're.
That's exactly how. Well, that's exactly how street gangs form. There is a cultish kind of process that happens there.
And it is a cult because when the Shredder shows up, he tells all the kids, he says, "You are the ones rejected by society. I am your father." You know, like he says, he's pretending to be there. It's terrible.
Like he cares about them. Yeah.
Look at that mask.
It is a cool mask.
I mean, he's terrifying. He's one of the worst villains I've ever seen. No mercy. I remember on the 2000s era Turtles cartoon when Leonardo was getting attacked by waves and waves of foot soldiers until he finally got beaten and then Splinter said, wearing down your opponent by sending soldier after soldier after him, you have no honor. And then the Shredder said, I fight to win. That was his response to that. Like, that's a very not Klingon thing to do, right? To dishonorable.
Depends on the Klingon, I suppose.
Yeah.
I've there have been those that have tried to work around the rules.
Oh, Adrian didn't know about Turtles 3 until 2007 because it was 3 movies I rented at Hollywood Video 3 months before they closed. I remember Hollywood Video. Shredder equals Mortal Kombat. I wonder, I know that
Mortal Kombat.
I don't think they did, but they should put Shredder in one of the Mortal Kombat games as a bonus character. That would be
cool.
They did put the Turtles in one of the DC fighting games that's made by the Mortal Kombat people as bonus characters. There's a funny scene, I think, where like Michelangelo goes up against Superman, and the first part of their dialogue is, favorite food, New York City slice, go. And then he goes, beef bourguignon. And he says, no! like that's what Superman said was beef bourguignon.
That's funny.
Which I don't know where they get this stuff. So here we go. Let's move. Shredder's evil.
Yep.
Look at that, man. He's going up against, I don't know. And this was terrifying. This was toward the end where, like, he goes, the rat, it has a name, or rather, it had a name. And then Leonardo steps up and says, you, Splinter's not dead, you lie. And he says, do I? And then he goes, no. And then he goes and attacks him. And Shredder makes short work of him and puts his sword to his neck and looks at the other 3 turtles and says, weapons. And the other turtles throw their weapons down, and he says, fools. You might have overpowered me with the loss of but one, but now your fate will be his. And he's about to cut like Leonardo's throat right there. And then they all start screaming. Then Splinter, of course, shows up and fights Shredder himself. So I thought that was interesting. The teacher basically shows up at the end.
Which I like. You don't usually see that in these kind of hero movies. No, you don't. But the idea that, you know what? You're not ready. I'm still the master. Yeah, yes. I'm still the master, and there is still, much that even the bad guy has to learn,
Yeah. And I don't know, I thought this was a good one. Did you Teenage Turtles was created as a spoof of Daredevil? Yes, it was. Which I didn't realize at the time, but of course in Daredevil you have the ninja clan called the Hand.
The Hand, right.
And then in this you have the Foot. Do you get it?
And the it was supposed to be the same toxic waste, the accident that causes his blindness goes down the drain and turns the turtles into mutant ninja turtles.
I see. And of course their master is Splinter, whereas Matt Murdock's master was Stick, the blind janitor guy. Yes.
Exactly.
So, yes. Who knew how to defend himself because he had to learn how to defend himself because he was a blind man. So he learned martial arts to do. And he says, I'm going to have to train you. They did that on the Netflix show. I thought to great effect, actually.
I did too, yeah.
Why did they always have turtles meet DC characters? They share the origin with Daredevil. They should ally against the Hand and the Foot. I don't... Because it's rights.
Yeah, it's licensing related stuff. Yeah, the company that did the game had the rights to the DC characters and the Mortal Kombat characters they had the rights to Mortal Kombat, but they had the rights to the DC characters. So they were that's where that crossover came from. And then they got the rights to do a Turtles game. And they're like, well, we got Turtles, we got Mortal Kombat, let's combine the two. You know?
Well, in this case, it was DC.
Or DC,
I don't know. Maybe they did show up in Mortal Kombat. I'm not keeping track of what
I don't know.
It's become so ridiculous, the amount of cameos that show up in Mortal Kombat. I think the Xenomorph showed up in one of the games at one point.
That's kind of cool.
It was interesting when they did DC versus Mortal Kombat, though. They did do a game. Every character in the game had fatalities except for the DC superheroes. They had finishers, but they weren't fatalities. Now, if you play as the Joker, you get a fatality, obviously.
I'm sure you do.
People. I think they did his thing with the fake air gun, where he shoots out the thing that says "bang," and then the spear shoots out, and kills the guy. That was one of his.
That's kind of funny. Yeah.
But let me see though. But I'm trying to think. And now the Turtles comics are put out by DC. And I've heard some of the newer Turtles comics aren't bad. Like, I know people... I need to read Last Ronin. It's been on my bucket list of something to do. I need to read Turtles Last Ronin. No spoilers as to who the Last Ronin is in this chat, please. Even though I know we probably should have all read it by now. But basically, the Last Ronin is a... I treat it as a what-if. Some might treat it as canon. I treat it as a what if, like a final turtle story, kind of like the Dark Knight Returns, basically, for Batman. You know,
Right.
like it's like a what if. It takes place in this horrible dystopian future. I assume the Foot Clan is responsible for it.
Well, let's put a pin in that because we'll get to that.
We're gonna get to that later. Oh, I got some thoughts on that, but just I don't know. I remember this as, I mean, I think I was almost starting to age out of this. I mean, I was a big fan of the video games at the time too, so I would pick those up. But I don't know though. I would say this is a preteen boy movie, and
yeah, I would say so.
I love how at the end of this movie, Splinter makes he says, "I made a funny," like he makes his joke, and he says, "I made a funny," and then at the end of the second movie, he goes, "Go ninja, go," and he says, "I made another funny." And then the credits, because that was from Vanilla Ice in the sequel, but I wasn't
right
on the sequel.
So the other thing too, and I know there are some, maybe Tom Connors, because I know he's a big Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan. These movies, and especially the cartoons, were very kid friendly, like you said, preteen boys kind of thing. But if we're gonna be honest, the comics were not intended for children. Those were really intended for older readers.
Hence why the Last Ronin is probably darker as well.
Exactly.
Of course, again, I don't even know if you're supposed to take that as the final story. I think you can take it as apocryphal, this is something that could happen, you know,
right.
Not necessarily the final thing. Kind of like how Batman has a few final stories also. I think another final story involved him marrying Talia Ghul and going off into the sunset. I think that was another one that was written. But, okay. How about you, Netter? Did you grow up with this, or maybe you were maybe your kid? Turtles. This movie.
I mean, I've seen a couple of the cartoons. I saw at least the first movie. I thought was okay, but it's like I thought the cartoons, of course, were better because I could do more in cartoons as far as like fight scenes and all that.
Right.
It wasn't made for you. No.
It was throwing distance.
Well, here's the deal. I think they were doing what they could in live action with this movie, and they were basing a lot of what happens in the comics, except it's Raph that gets beaten near death, as opposed to Leonardo, I think, or unless I'm confusing this with the animated series from the 2000s, which started out well and then it kind of fell apart. I'm talking about the second animated series, not the Nickelodeon. But Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2012 is the best TMNT. I've been meaning to watch that. I know there are a lot of fans of that, and it's been on my list to check out the prior Nickelodeon series. I know that was very well received, especially by younger viewers. So it's fine. That's your favorite. Okay. In fact, they always do crossovers with the 80s cartoon turtles on all these various series. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Like it'll be some interdimensional thing where they meet, which I guess they ripped off for that Spider-Man No Way Home.
I would imagine so, yeah.
So best TMNT. All right, moving on to our news of the evening.
Yep.
And welcome, Kojo Asante. If I've not seen you here before, welcome. All right. Geeky Geezers, I guess we got to get to it.
I suppose we should.
Here's someone who wants to get down to it, as the cowboy would say, Mulholland Drive.
Yep.
Oh, boy. There's going to be more to this. I don't know how much I want to spend on these streams. This is just England, but it ain't just, let me read the story and then we'll get into it. All right. Black Ops 7 physical sales down 61% as it fails to beat Battlefield 6 launch amid mass player complaints, poor reviews, and dwindling physical sales. Activision says Black Ops 7 has had a great first weekend. To say Call of Duty Black Ops 7 is having a rough launch would be an understatement. The game only launched on November 14th, and it's been met with a deluge of fan complaints about its awful campaign and use of generative AI. It's too soon to tell if this has had any major effect on the game's long-term prospects, but physical sales of Black Ops 7 are definitely down on last year's entry in the United Kingdom. Ever since digital took over, physical sales do typically decline each year, but compared to last year's Call of Duty Black Ops 6, they're down by a shocking 61% for Black Ops 7. This is according to data marketing research company GfK, as shared by the game business editor-in-chief Christopher Dring on X, who added that Black Ops 7 has saw a smaller UK retail launch than its primary competitor, Battlefield 6. Black Ops 7 could make up for this decline with increased digital sales, numbers for which are generally never shared, but 61% is a far bigger drop than you'd expect for one of the most popular gaming franchises in the world. There are also signs that it's struggling to attract players on Steam. Per Steam database, Black Ops 6 launched to over 306,000 concurrent players, but Black Ops 7 has barely managed to crack 100,000 concurrent players since its launch. Admittedly, Black Ops 7 seems to be faring better on PlayStation, with the UK Play Store listing as the second best-selling game at the moment, behind EA Sports FC 26. The Microsoft Store tells a different story. While Arc Raiders and Battlefield 6 take the first two spots of the Xbox's best sellers, Black Ops 7 sits outside of the top 10, although that's primarily due to Game Pass, as Xbox owners have less incentive to buy their own copy, because you can get it with the subscription service. If you bought Black Ops 7 digitally and are unsatisfied with it, it's possible to request a refund through whichever platform you bought it from, although eligibility for refunds does vary according to company, and there's a list of how you can go through with that. I'll say this, Xbox tends to be pretty good with giving you refunds on games as long as you haven't played them too long. Strong black cyborg woman protecting the cowardly men. Yes, Lindgren, I saw that. That's a character in one of the games. And let me see here. I'm trying to think here. Sorry, you there?
Yeah.
Okay. And then Horror Cat Dad, welcome. Only had Black Ops 1, and that's all I ever needed. Yeah. I have Black Ops... Do I have Black Ops 2? I lost track. I kind of got out of the Call of Duty series a while ago. I never quite got into it. I'm not picking on its fans or anything. It just ended up not being for me. But this is interesting because, of course, we've been following Xbox over the years, right? And what were they trying to acquire? They were trying to acquire Activision Blizzard, right?
Right.
Because now they can become one of the biggest publishers. And of course, everyone was fretting over the fact that Call of Duty would or would not be on other systems like PlayStation. Like, say, PlayStation wanted to guarantee that Xbox would not keep Call of Duty as an exclusive. They had to go through all sorts of European courts and American courts and tribunals and whatever just to get Activision for Call of Duty. And I could be wrong, but I'm wondering if Call of Duty's popularity is now finally starting to wane. I don't think it's helped by the fact that this sounds like a terrible game, but nothing lasts forever. Popular games, one year, in the old days, I've never seen a series that had this long staying power. I used to love the Guitar Hero games, but those kind of came and went.
Yep.
World of Warcraft used to be the biggest thing ever, and people still play it, but it's not the sensation that it was, and I think now we're seeing this happen for Call of Duty.
Yep.
So yeah. Moving on to any thoughts?
No, I have some serious thoughts about the next one, though.
Let's go into this. U.S. Congressman criticizes Call of Duty Black Ops 7. I think it's interesting. I've never heard a congressperson complain about a game before, so this will be interesting. LB,
no. Think about it. You probably have. We have a long history of lawmakers that don't know what the heck they're talking about, raising all kinds of cane about clutching pearls and all kinds of things. So this is nothing new.
LB Bstad is a writer musician based in Nashville. Okay, sorry, my mistake. Sorry. Forgive me. That's the author of the article. Call of Duty Black Ops 7 has been under fire for its use of AI artwork, and it's now caused U.S. Representative Ro Khanna to speak up on AI regulations. The launch of Black Ops 7 has been quite divisive across the board, and the presence of AI-generated images in the game has frustrated many players even more. Between criticism of the game's campaign and lower user ratings, Black Ops 7 is off to a rocky start, and the AI controversy isn't helping. Steam has even refunded a Black Ops 7 player due to the game's AI use. The use of AI in game development has been a huge debate this year, and Black Ops 7 is adding more fuel to the fire. Gamers aren't the only people participating in the discourse either, as the issue has inspired Ro Khanna to make an official statement regarding the matter. In the midst of mounting Call of Duty Black Ops 7 AI art allegations, Activision issues an official statement on the matter. But anyway, going on, Representative Khanna took to Twitter to address the Black Ops 7 controversy, insisting that the company's use of AI should be regulated in order to protect employees. Khanna's argument claims that large companies using AI as a way to cut costs instead of employing actual artists is a misuse of the technology. He further states that the employed artists at such companies should ultimately have a say in how this technology gets used, which would presumably give artists more agency in the workplace. Developers like Treyarch and Raven Software aren't the only companies to have been under fire recently for the use of AI. Last week, Subnautica 2 publisher Krafton ignited controversy after it was reported that the company is buying out employee contracts so it can become an AI-first operation. Black Ops 7 AI usage may not be on that scale, but Khanna's word are a reminder that the AI-made calling cards in the game could have been made by an actual artist who would have been paid for their work. As AI continues to evolve, the debate about whether AI should be regulated or not is only going to become more prevalent. Elon Musk even claims that he'll release an AI-generated game by the end of the year. It is highly unlikely that AI will ever go away, but Representative Khan's statement showcases what a key issue this is. Your thoughts?
So, although he makes some great points that I would otherwise agree with, Khanna is an idiot, and he needs to stay in his own damn lane. Anytime you start a question with or you start a statement with, I think there should be a law that, my response is no. Period. We have a bunch of people that are too old to even understand how technology works, that don't know even, hell, these people don't even understand how the law works, and they're trying to make laws. They think that they're kings that can wave magic wands and make the world work the way they want them to, and that is the problem with our representatives. So it is not for them to be, yes, have opinions, express them, get your constituents to care about it, but, let the labor unions do their jobs. Let the lawsuits work out in the judiciary the way they should. Regulate business and let the new technology fall into the laws that exist the way they should exist. All right?
And yeah, well, also, not that I'm trying to defend Activision here, but we don't know. Perhaps it was an artist on staff that used the AI to create this. We don't know the full story on this, of how these AI images came about, do we?
And therein lies the other problem. You don't even understand the circumstances, and they focus on one certain company, right? This company did a bad that we want to keep them from doing it, so we want to regulate the whole industry. No! Let this company and this situation play out. And when a greater problem comes to you from the industry, from your constituents, when there's a reasonable way to address it in the minimum way possible, then maybe you float that idea. But this kind of knee-jerk kind of thing never works out well. Never. This would be the analogous to, if that Ford wants to start automating car building. We can't let that happen because people will lose their job. Look, he wants to put cars on the roads. What are we going to do with all the horses?
Here's what I have to say, though, about this whole AI thing. And I think that if companies are getting rid of employees or replacing with AI, and the AI is not doing the same job as the employees because they overestimated what AI could do, and if this company suffers financially, I say they don't get a bailout. All right.
Exactly
Yes.
right.
Yes.
That is how you address it. Let the companies do what they're going to do, and if they go bankrupt, too bad.
Same goes for Activision with this AI art. Apparently players do not like it. It must be really awful if they noticed it too.
Exactly.
And
And that is the
just
way it
don't
is
buy the game.
supposed to work. This is why they keep villainizing capitalism, because they don't let capitalism do its job. If people don't like it, they won't buy it, and the companies won't do it. The problem takes care of itself. Just stay the hell out of it, Congress.
I just don't get Xbox. They spent all this money on Activision, and now all the games coming out are crap. There was that disaster with the Tony Hawk 3 and 4 remake where they didn't have the music.
Yep.
And Microsoft has the money. They have more money than Activision had, but we're getting worse stuff.
And that is a great example of the law that these idiots have put into place, screwing things up. Because this is an example of where copyright laws and whatnot, who can own a song, who can own a melody, there are serious problems with our copyright laws because they're being written by people that don't think it through, or worse yet, don't care. All they care about is the rich companies that give them money to run for their next election.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess we will find out how this all plays out as time goes on.
As time goes by.
Consumers generally do not care about AI in games, since former Square Enix employee executive.
Well, wait a minute.
Go ahead.
This relates directly as we're going into this. Jesse says, Troy, there's no excuse for big companies like Microsoft, especially Xbox, for using AI after firing so many people. Yes, there is. And you know what that excuse is? Idiots that keep paying for it. If you go and you buy an Xbox knowing this, then you are the problem.
If you're buying
I
these
don't blame the
games,
companies.
yes.
If you enable these companies to do it, then the purchasers are the problems. Just like you could go off about Apple. You know, there's a YouTuber that I follow. I am a member of his Patreon. He's going to stop using Patreon. You know why? Apple Pay. If someone pays for their Patreon membership through Apple Pay, Patreon sits on that payment for 2 months before you get your money.
Wow.
And he says, I can't anymore. He said, I'd be better off just having YouTube memberships and getting the money on a monthly basis and knowing that I will. And so there you go. Patreon is going to see more and more people leaving. And, you know, there's no excuse for it, but yes, there is, because we allow it to happen. Because you guys keep using Apple Pay. Because you guys have to keep getting the newest Apple device. Because you have to keep using the Apple computers and so forth. But, you know.
Well, to be fair, though,
to
defend the customers, though, I don't think they are supporting Microsoft or Xbox in these endeavors, because no one's buying the stuff.
Well, exactly. That's
so,
you're right, and that is it working the way it's supposed to.
Yes.
Exactly.
And frankly, I've heard rumor. I think some other YouTuber, it might have been Dreamcast guy, was talking about this. I know, but he was saying that they're thinking that Microsoft, that they're hoarding all these chips for the AI stuff. That we may be getting more expensive Xboxes in the future, because I think they're trying to use all their manpower inside the organization for the AI race.
I really do think, though, that and I've really been paying attention to this, not in the technology area, but just in the business area. And this whole talk about the AI bubble, I think it's really legit. Listen, don't anybody make any stock purchases or sells based on anything I say. This is pure speculation from somebody who knows nothing. But it really does look like everybody is putting a lot of money into a speculative technology that is at best not paying off the dividends on the investment, but at worst, people are pushing back on and don't like.
Yeah. And I will say this too. I think basically what Troy is trying to say, you can go ahead and not like Xbox, but we just don't need the government getting involved in this. Let the market take care of that, I think, right? Is that
Yeah.
what you're basically saying?
I am exactly saying that. Yes.
Okay. All right, excuse me. All right.
And to a certain degree, they don't have a choice in the matter. The market is going to correct. This bubble is going to burst. And I think AI is going to become the tool that it was meant to be. And that is basically an over-glorified spell checker or grammar checker. That's what these large language models are. They're being applied to visual arts and to music and other kinds of things. They are tools, but they're the kind of tools that we've seen in like Word and Photoshop for years.
Well, it's like when the electric keyboard was invented and people were messing around with that, but you still had to be a musician.
You can build an automatic hammer. It's not going to build a house for you. And that's what people are trying to do here.
I think they're promising the world, and I think they're doing it to get investment money. I think that's the problem.
Yep.
And
I think you're right.
I think we'll eventually find out what it does do and what it doesn't do well. But this I thought was interesting. Former Square Enix executive, Genvid CEO Jacob Navok, the former director of business at Square Enix, has shared his 2 cents worth on the ongoing debate surrounding the use of AI in game development. While it's far from a glowing endorsement of the practice, Navok argues that most players generally don't care about it. For the anti-AI sentiment we're seeing in various articles, Navok wrote in a recent post on X, it appears consumers generally don't care. Well, I have a response to this myself. If players don't notice it's AI, they're not going to care. If they do notice it's AI, they are going to care. That's the point.
Yes, they are. Exactly right.
Alongside the successful launch of Arc Raiders, the source of Navok's argument.
Can I stop you there for a second?
Sure.
Just to give some context to this. Again, we're also talking about someone who might be doing a little bit of doublespeak, because not all AI is made the same, right? If it's used to generate art, if it's generate dialogue, whatever, you're running a lot of risks that people are going to notice and go, oh, that's terrible, you know? But then again, we also got people working on these games. Even if they're not using AI, they don't know how to write. They don't have the talent, and it's terrible too. So this was one of the things I said a long time ago about AI. How can you even tell? It could just be bad because you got these stupid DEI hires doing this stuff that shouldn't be doing these jobs. But I am digressing. I think these games are missing their opportunities with AI. They need to use these large language models to improve the, I'm unfortunately using AI in 2 different ways in the same sentence. Mm-hmm. Large language model AI is a very different, in quotes, AI than the artificial intelligence they have built into games, like the interaction between you and an NPC. That's another kind of AI. They could combine those two and have you interacting in the game. And some games are actually starting to do this, where instead of you have three things that you could possibly say to an NPC, and they've got pre-programmed responses to that. They call that an AI. Really, all that is a twist-a-plot. It's a branching tree.
Well, yeah, and they have games that are basically twist-a-plots, like that the Quarry game or Until Dawn. They were
what they really could do, though, is allow you. Imagine a first-person game where the NPC interacts with you, and you have a microphone on, and you speak into it like you would say to your Echo Dot or whatever, and it understands you and responds based on that. That would be really good. That would be really good. That is missed opportunity they are not doing. What they are doing is they're using AI to be lazy, and I think that's what this exec is trying to cover for. But I should let you get on with it so that we can really get to it.
This is interesting. So alongside, so he goes on to say, Gen Z loves AI slop, does not care about Navok. The upcoming generation of gamers are Bane in The Dark Knight Rises, saying, you merely adopted the slop. I was born in it. This follows a hand. What is he talking about?
I don't know.
And there's no evidence that Gen Z likes the AI slop. They're the
No.
ones buying fewer games. So I don't know what
Exactly.
he's talking about.
Exactly. Well, remember, this is somebody who has a personal stake in it, right? If only for his own ego, you know? So
This is why I keep buying my boomer shooters.
I'm with you, man.
And by boomer shooter, I'm referring to games that are either made a long time ago and they're getting remasters, or games made in that style by, frankly, one or two individuals in their garage, like in the old days. We're kind of seeing that with indie games. It's going back to the way things used to be with a lot of those early computer games.
It's funny because I there's a number of I mean, it's a whole class of YouTube channels that I follow that are just people playing games and mostly kind of narrating as they go through it.
Sure.
To a funny effect. But some of these games that they're doing, what are they doing? They're doing these cheap games that they find on Steam and whatnot, right? And some of them are really good because, like you said, they're independent games. I want to say hi to the Bosco Scenario. I haven't seen you in a long time, my friend. But welcome. You got gifted a membership recently, so welcome back. Welcome back to the family. It's good to see you.
This turned into an AI stream, so...
Yeah, right. Troy, if they want to use AI, fine, they can use it in early development of the game or use AI to improve. Yeah, see...
It's a tool. That's how you use it.
That's exactly how it should be used.
Yes.
In business, there are very strict rules about how AI is used, and using it... Okay, so we have spell checkers and we have grammar checkers. Now you can use AI to generate something that's more than grammar, but you still have to be actively involved in it. So you can tell ChatGPT or whatever, generate a letter that, you know, hits all these points. Then you got to read it, and then you got to edit it and, you know, make sure it applies and it's not just, you know, AI gobbledygook.
Yes,
but
you have to read what it turns out and maybe re-edit it yourself. Yes.
But you would be amazed, and it's because of the way corporate speak works. It understands corporate speak. So it gets all the bells and whistles and dings and dongs that go into a business letter, and you're like, oh yeah, that sounds really good. That sounds like the kind of gobbledygook my boss says. And, you know, then you know.
Synergy.
Exactly. Synergies and stuff like that.
I used our company GPT to do my review.
Yeah, to do her own review. Exactly.
I took like snippets of different things and just said, make this sound better. And then took what it wrote, changed maybe a word or two, and plopped it right in my review.
Because anyone who's ever had to do a self-eval knows you're just marketing yourself. It's all just BS anyway. That's the kind of thing that's appropriate to use AI for. Because it's a stupid waste of time anyway.
Yes, exactly.
Extremely wasteful time.
Anyway.
All right. So I do not think that Gen Z is adopting this. I don't know what this... I think this gentleman is out of touch, and maybe he should not be in charge of things.
No, it sounds like very much wishful thinking. He wants to believe this, and it becomes a news article because of who he is.
I know you had in the thumbnail 500, but I think that might be wishful thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't expect the Steam Machine price to follow a console pricing model. This is this kind of. I heard the balloon deflate behind me. Now we don't know what the price is yet, but Valve's announcement of the Steam Machine has sparked much debate online about the company's return to the PC in the living room space. What do you mean the company's return to the PC and living room space? I don't think they ever occupied it. Never mind. But one key piece of information remains.
I think they're thinking like our old, like my Atari 2600.
Oh, you mean when you hooked up the Atari 100 computer and they didn't have monitors
yet?
You hooked it up to a TV.
Yeah, and that was actually right into the early 90s.
Yes. Okay. The Steam Machine is a gaming-focused PC designed to be more accessible than a standard desktop PC with sleek cube-like design and SteamOS on board. Yeah, okay, I know that. In a recent episode of The Juan Show, Linus from Linus Tech Tips recalled that he had expressed his disappointment to Valve that Steam Machine wouldn't follow a console pricing model where it subsidized the manufacturing because it takes a 30% cut of sales made on the platform, as the likes of Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo do with their consoles. Linus said it was then asked by Valve what he meant by console price, to which he responded, $500. Nobody said anything, but the energy of the room wasn't great, Linus continued. Now, I want to express something. We don't know what the price is, but I think you could tell by what they were saying in the room. Like, we're releasing it at 800. What are you talking about? It doesn't sound good. I wouldn't hold your breath, but
Well, look, I kind of said this myself. If it's cost effective, people are going to go for it. If it's not, why would they bother? They're going to find themselves holding an empty sack if they price it too high.
Jesse Gajardo says, yes, it is coming out before the Xbox version of this thing. So the reason he's saying the Xbox version, I'll explain, because I don't know if we've talked about this on the stream, but Microsoft, I feel like with their next Xbox is when Paramount would talk about doing another Star Trek movie, but it was basically they're planning, from what I've heard, like Steam Machine, a PC console hybrid system that you could also play your Steam games on with this next Xbox they're making. And this is before I heard about the Steam box. But again, knowing Microsoft's pricing, it's probably going to be at least $1,000 next generation. So
I would look at that and go, then why would I want to bother? What is the incentive for me to get this thing then?
Okay, well, go play on your computer then.
I do.
Okay.
I am waiting for these companies to come up with something to coax me away from my PC.
And how many articles do we have left? I'm probably pushing through these. I don't know. I think I would buy a Steam box if it was maybe even 600, but that might be the highest I would go for something like that. I get that inflation is a thing just because of what's been going on, but yeah. All right, so let's move on. I didn't even bother talking about this story in relation to the uproar online, which people get over it. These are the actors they cast. I think they're fine. I think they look like the game characters, right?
Yes, they do. And honestly, here's the interesting thing about it. I never really thought about it before because these game characters tend to be kind of cartoonish.
Yes.
To now see them in live action, I'm like, this is very Lord of the Rings-ish. This may actually be better than that stupid Amazon series they got.
Well, this is why people were getting all angry about when I told you I think it was last week with Wind Waker, and they made it into a cartoon. And they're like, what are you doing? And I'll say this, the Zelda games, they have developed a rich lore over the many different games in the series. Like, I mean, they're not quite up there, not quite at Middle Earth level, but they're getting there. They introduced their different races in this world, besides these characters here who, yes, they're called Hylians in the game. They're elves, let's be honest here. Right. Okay, that's what they are, but they're in the game, they're called Hylians.
Because let's face it, they don't think of themselves as, elves, humans, dwarves, whatever. They are just who they are, and they come from Hylia, so that's how they identify themselves.
Probably. And there are other races, like there's Ganon's race, the Gajardo, I think they're called in the game. And there's a bird race and a rock monster race, and
he doesn't have a weak spot. No.
No, the rock people were cool because you had to sumo wrestle them in one of the games.
Interesting.
that was their test. I don't know if they're the Klingons of the group. I don't know, but they were all right. They're
filming in New Zealand, so there is another overlap with Lord of the Rings. That's cool.
The director has said he's looking at this as like he's doing a live action Studio Ghibli movie. That's sort of the approach he's taken, which I think could work.
That's kind of cool, yeah.
And I don't know. The weird thing about Zelda games is they all take place in different time periods. For instance, this movie may not be based on any one of the games. It may just be it may be its own thing because, as you know, in the games, Link and Zelda are often reincarnated over and over again, but they tend to look different. That might explain why they look different in the different games. So
sure,
it's more like they're taking on the role of these characters. And of course, Princess Zelda is tied to the Triforce of Wisdom because she's wise. Link is tied to the Triforce of Courage because he's the hero. And then we have the Triforce of Power, which Ganon is tied to, the villain. But it looks good. I have no complaints. I'll read a bit from the article, but Nintendo has offered fans their first glimpse. Yeah, pics were leaking online, and I think Nintendo said, screw it, we got to release something.
Right.
So Nintendo has offered fans their first glimpse of The Legend of Zelda's leap into live action. Images released Monday on Nintendo Today app showcase young actors Bo Bragason and Benjamin Evan Ainsworth as the magical Princess Zelda and the green-clad swordsman Link, respectively, in Sony and Nintendo's upcoming big screen adaptation. The still shows the pair standing in a sun-drenched meadow, Zelda gripping her signature bow and arrow, while both wear faithful recreations of the characters' classic Hylian costumes, complete with pointed ears. Wes Ball, filmmaker behind Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes and Maze Runner trilogy, directs the long-awaited adaptation, which is set to theaters on May 7, 2027. I'm hopeful about this.
Yeah.
They haven't mentioned the villain is yet. Is it going to be Ganon or is it going to be a different villain in this movie?
And again, I'm probably a bad one to give any kind of opinion because I know very
Yes.
little about this lore. But
Yes.
I
What do you
haven't
want?
heard anything that rings any warning bells or anything for me. So I've been thinking
No,
maybe I would enjoy this too.
Nintendo, I mean, as we've seen, sometimes they protect their properties with overzealousness, especially
Yeah.
when they try suing, but they also protect their properties, usually making sure that they don't get sullied. Of course, I have
Yeah.
reservations about the new Metroid game coming out, but I'm going to wait for it to get released before I spill my 2 cents on that.
Fair enough.
But this movie looks good, and British actress Bragason is best known for roles in BBC One's Three Girls and The Jetty. I did watch The Jetty. As well as Disney Plus's Renegade Nell. She also starred in Euros Lynn's vampire comedy The Radleys. Ainsworth also English voiced the title role in Robert Zemeckis' Pinocchio and played Miles in Netflix's The Haunting of Bly Manor. These are very British actors they have played. So, yeah. I don't know. I think this could be good. I don't know if this is going to be a standalone movie, if it's going to be part one of a trilogy. That's what I'm curious about.
Well, I would bet you that they would like it to be a series, but they're holding off on deciding that until they see how it does.
The good news about Zelda, though, is even if these actors age out and they want to do more in the future, as I've said, Link and Zelda tend to look different in various games anyway.
Right.
So
Right.
having them look different or played by different actors doesn't really go against canon. So
Sure.
you could have that work.
Kind of
Again-
like what they came up with for Doctor Who, right?
Kind of, yes. Of course, with Zelda, it's excused by they get bored of the old style. With video games, they tend to. I don't want to say every video game is a remake, but whenever they would do sequels to Zelda, and people are trying to come up with a timeline. I know back at Nintendo, they're thinking, well, we're just kind of making things up as we go along. And we're trying
Yeah, exactly.
But they eventually did a timeline, and it upset people because people were obsessed with the fact that there had to be a 2-timeline Zelda series, because at the end of Ocarina of Time, adult Princess Zelda says, "Poor Link, you didn't get to enjoy your childhood," and then sends Link back in time to be a child again. And they think when that happened, the timeline got screwed up and got split. And then you had one universe where Link the hero wasn't there anymore, and one universe where he was, and therefore disaster fell Hyrule again because Link wasn't around to stop it. Do you understand? Because Zelda sent him back in time to. People had all these fan theories, and then Nintendo would kind of give these obtuse answers and get the fans really riled up. And finally, Nintendo said, no, we're going to put out an official Legend of Zelda compendium and explain it. And then people looked at it, and then it said 3 timelines, not 2.
3 timelines.
Yes.
Interesting. Wow.
So, yes, it's weird. Okay, anyway, but they'll probably keep this one fairly down to earth, I think. All right. Or down to Hyrule, or whatever the planet's name is. Netflix planning to release Warner Brothers movies in theaters should merger occur, but others have doubts.
Yeah. Yeah, there's reason to have doubts, and we'll get to that in a minute.
Netflix planning to release Warner Brothers movies in theaters should merger occur. Netflix has already told Warner Brothers Discovery Brass that the streamer would release the Burbank Lots movies in theaters should a merger of the two conglomerates go through. Bloomberg reported on this news. Sources tell Deadline that it makes sense that Netflix would be required to meet filmmaker contractual obligations from movies absorbed from a potential merger. However, what happens thereafter following a Netflix purchase of Warner Brothers remains unknown. Netflix has used theatrical to qualify auteur-driven movies like Alfonso Cuarón's multi-Oscar winner Roma and Martin Scorsese's The Irishman for Academy Awards consideration. The streamer, which has largely resisted committing to a wide global theatrical release for even their most expensive 200 million plus movies like The Red One and Gray Man, has also used theatrical for stunting purposes, i.e. their limited release of Rian Johnson's Wake Up Dead Man and Knives Out Mystery over next week's Thanksgiving stretch, and the late August 2nd day release of K-pop Demon Hunters Sing Along in theaters, which ranked number 1 with 19 million, Netflix's first movie to hit number 1 at the domestic box office. Currently for next year, there's a windowed IMAX theatrical release plan for Netflix's Narnia movie from director Greta Gerwig.
Oh, God.
This was not the director for that movie.
No. Never was, no.
Oh, my word. They took such care with the prior ones.
I know.
In addition to David Ellison, Paramount, Netflix, and Comcast Core are interested in absorbing Warner Brothers Discovery bids for Warner Brothers Discovery are due Thursday. There's skepticism over how Netflix commitment to theatrical. Why? Because co-CEO Ted Sarandos said repeatedly on various earnings calls to investors that the streamer isn't varying their distribution strategy. They're about first-run movies on Netflix first. In fact, Sarandos credited the momentum of K-pop Demon Hunters, the streamer's most watched movie ever, as propelling the Pix box office. That title's theatrical release opening roughly 2 months after it dropped on the OTT service. What do you think? I mean, I guess there are commitments that were made to movie theaters, correct? That's why they would have to release them? Because movie theaters are expecting these things on these dates to release?
I can sum up my opinion on this all based on one word in the title. Should. Should merger occur? That is the pivot to the next article. Nothing means anything until it actually happens.
Oh, that's the pivot?
Yes, that's the pivot.
But the next article is Superman.
No, there's a recommendation of a
the YouTube video. Yes,
the YouTube video. So Criticless, Blaine over at Criticless was making a point that there is a lot of people speculating about movies being released by Warner Brothers and all other kinds of news happening with Warner Brothers. Don't believe any of it. None of it means anything because we have no idea who's going to be calling those shots, in the new year. Until we see what happens and who ends up buying Warner Brothers, we don't know. So don't buy any of this. All of this is fugazi until then.
I don't know. I think this is this is all this might be what Netflix is saying to sweeten the deal as they bid, right?
It could be. It could also be, as it always is, that I always point out with these movie announcements, people trying to use ambiguity to make it sound like no, I wouldn't say it's
Netflix is clickbaiting, not the article. Okay,
yeah,
they're just reporting
kind of
what
right.
Said. Yes,
that's kind of true. Netflix is trying to convince you. They're trying to sell you a bill of goods. Is what this really is, and you're always going to have someone trying to do that. That kind of is the problem. That's true.
Do you know what Netflix's distribution model is? Streaming Netflix, that's it. They don't put their stuff out on DVD anymore. They used to in the early days. Like you used to get Daredevil came out on Blu-ray, so did in fact Disney owns that now. Why don't they put the old series out on Blu-rays? Never mind. Who am I talking about here?
Because they don't want you to know that know how bad what they've put out recently is by comparison, maybe.
Well, let's look at Stranger Things. Stranger Things got Blu-ray releases, and I could be wrong, but I think they just stopped Did we ever get a season 3 on Blu-ray? We got seasons 1 and 2, and I was expecting Netflix to. I mean, I figured they were waiting for the new season to air, and then they would release the old season out on physical format. But I don't even know if they're doing that anymore.
I can only tell you I have season 1 and 2 on my shelf. I don't know if season 3 has
I don't think 3 ever came out, because I think I would look for it, but maybe they were just taking so long I just forgot to.
I think the problem is, and we've talked about this before, it's this whole streaming model that is a real problem. They have this belief that, and I always compare it to, if they just buy more change machines, they'll stop breaking even, and that's not how this works. They're not making any more from their streaming services. The only way they could make more money is if they get you to pay for this product in a different way. Whether that's go to the movies to see it, whether that's buy some merchandise, and especially buying the physical media. They want you to continue to pay for their streaming service to see the show and not own it. But people are going, no, I don't care that much. I'm not doing that. And so they don't make any money.
Superman.
Yeah.
It's a real shame. I think you had 3 of these in your comic book collection before I got doused with that water. You should have appraised it better.
Well,
No,
I'm not that old. See, that's the problem. But yeah, Superman #1.
So
I've seen this in comic book stores, but I've never owned it myself.
Holy cow. Maybe I should have picked this up. Now, I was always told growing up that it's not Superman #1 you want. You want Action Comics #1. That's the
in theory it is, but,
As time goes on, things become more and more money.
Yeah.
It's a bird, it's a plane, it's the most expensive comic book of all time. Discovered in an attic and preserved in excellent condition. Oh, it's also conditioned, too. We have to remember that.
Right, exactly.
A copy of Superman #1 sold for $9.12 million, including the buyer's premium at Heritage Auctions on Thursday, setting a new record for the highest price ever paid for a comic. The record-selling book was graded CGC 9.0, the highest ever assembled for a leading authenticator. CGC is the world's greatest collectibles. Sees the world's greatest collectibles on a daily basis, but this is truly once-in-a-lifetime event. Certified Collectibles Group President Max Spiegel said, "We are living history in this moment. A comic book selling for a record-breaking 9.12 million shows not only the strength of the collectibles market, but also the trust that buyers have in CGC's expert and impartial certification." So I would guess that somehow this thing got preserved. It didn't have a lot of age wear on it.
And
that's what it sounds like.
So value is a function of how much is available in relationship to how desirable it is. It's fairly desirable for collectors, and there are very, very few of them. And this is the element that people forget. They see something like this and they go, well, you know what? Every time a new comic comes out, they're called speculators. I better get, a nice copy of this, put it away, protect it and whatnot, so that, 30 years from now I can pay off my mortgage or something. That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. Because if everybody's doing that right now, congratulations. It's not going to be worth more than the cover price. Plus maybe, whatever happens to it because the value of the dollar through inflation, And it could actually end up being worth less than you paid for it. The reason being is because you got 5,000 people out there who have it in perfect condition waiting to sell it when the markets go up or whatever. The reason that this magazine and so many from that era are so valuable is because, one, nobody ever would have thought that there was value to these things. In fact, most adults thought they were a waste of time and didn't really want their kids wasting their money on them in the first place.
Mom cleaning out the room when you go off to college or the army,
throwing them out, whatnot. And even worse, we had something happen during the time that these comics were being printed. It was called World War II. Yeah. And what happened to paper products during World War II? Recycling.
Yeah.
So you had Superman in the comic book saying you can do your part for the war effort. When you're done reading this comic, put it into the recycling bin.
I have a theory, by the way, about this.
Yeah.
I think the gentleman who discovered this as a time machine went back in time, bought a Superman #1, came back to the present with it.
You have a time machine to make money. There's
went to the
much better ways
newsstand.
than
Had to
screwing
find
around with,
a dime from that period, you know, that was
Right,
minted
right.
with like the 1930s, and then
Well, and what you do is you do a lot of things. You set up a shell corporation buying specific stocks at specific times. Then when you come back, you're a multi-trillionaire.
now he'll convert it into old-fashioned money and bring that back in time, and then start investing it more. Okay,
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm better off buying gold and silver coins. Yeah, I don't know. It's actually a real shame because I had a couple sealed video games that got royally messed up in the flood, which is a pity because you would figure they're wrapped in plastic. They should be impervious to water. They weren't, but oh well. What can you do?
Well, because you didn't have them wrapped watertight, it gets in through.
I guess
the top
not.
and the seals and the stuff.
I wasn't
yeah.
expecting a flood, dude.
Well, that's
I had them sealed away. I mean, I had them put away. I thought in a safe spot, but
herein is another reason why things become valuable.
Yes.
Because over time, things happen that people don't expect, and the people that got lucky and never had that flood, that had it put away, tucked between their photo album and the high school yearbook. Oh, look what I found! I wonder if this is worth anything. Yep, it sure is.
Such a pity. Like that Mickey Mantle baseball card, right?
Yup.
Oh well, what can you do? But I put the money to good use, and or maybe don't invest it in AI. That's all I'm saying. But
right.
Good on you though. But let me see though. Oh, look at this. There's a story. Wait a minute. This results in testament not only to this comic's rarity and preservation, strength of comic and the comic market overall, but also the expertise and trust that defines these roles. Here we go. 3 brothers searching through their late mother's attic last year found stacks of old keepsakes. Surrounded by newspapers, there were 6 comic books which their mother had purchased with her brother prior to World War II, you were just saying.
Yep.
Comics included 5 copies of early Action Comics as well as the record-breaking Superman #1. The brothers called Heritage, which had previously set the record for the world's most expensive comic book when it sold Action Comics #1 for $6 million. The book's condition is owed in part to Northern California climate. Look at this is important. If it had been an attic here in Texas, it would have been ruined, Heritage Auctions Vice President Lon Allen said in his statement. They're in their 50s and 60s, and their mom has always told them that she had an expensive comics collection but never showed them. It's a twist on the old mom threw away on my comics story. Oh, that's funny.
It's kind of the opposite, right?
What's interesting about this is like for school, they did I watched an online tour of the St. Catherine's Monastery Library near Mount Sinai. This is the same Mount Sinai that Moses went to. Do you understand? In Egypt,
yeah.
There's a monastery there run by Orthodox monks, and they say that the reason why a lot of these old medieval manuscripts have lasted so long in there is because of the climate. It's a very dry climate. Like, it's actually temperature controlled. Do you understand?
Right.
The climate it's at. Because that ruins things too. Like, you could have done your best to like seal this comic book up when you bought it, but if you were in the wrong climate, the age is going to wear. So this is fascinating. This is almost like a medieval manuscript, but it's a Superman comic. That's some of the book.
It is, and this is one of those things where it's just luck, just chance, and it also comes down to there are people who know this. There are people preserving comic books and stuff like that in climate controlled places, and so on and so forth, and that's fine. But this is an example of someone who didn't know better and just got lucky.
Agent Boomer, you should have learned from Obi-Wan to use the high ground. I'll explain it to you. So, certain things were on the bottom shelf because they were heavy. So I think oddly enough, I had my rare games in my Xbox One box for it, which frankly, it probably should have been in storage. Of course, my storage got hit too. But and unfortunately, I wasn't there when the flooding was happening because I was working at an evacuation center. So, what can you do? Stuff happens. You have to move on.
Should have just let those people drown and take care of your stuff.
Anyway, it's like, oh, I hate to tell you that I don't know if I ever told you my most horrific story. I mean, I'm going to get off topic here for a minute, but
That's fine.
like, of course, our house got hit and everything. But while I was at
Uh-huh.
at one of the centers after I was having to stay there for a few days because I couldn't get back to the house because the street was still like a river.
Right.
Okay, and I see this woman there, and she's on one of the picnic benches, and she had this dog under the bench, and the dog looked really nervous, like the breathing heavy. And I'm like, and I was just
Yeah.
talking to her. She and the dog had been helicoptered out of their house in Fort Myers, which had gotten completely submerged. So I had to remind myself, yeah, you got hit bad, but you didn't lose everything.
Exactly.
These people, and I felt bad for the dog too. And I'm like,
Right.
yes. So it puts things in perspective. We do our best. We humans are very stubborn when it comes to preserving the past. We do our best. Stuff gets lost, but we keep plucking along. And now we have a Superman #1 that I hope ends up in an archive or a museum somewhere where they can be preserved. So that's probably where it should end. I hope it's not a private collector that picked
It
this up.
belongs in a museum.
Or at least start your own museum if you're a private collector.
Right.
Stick it in there. Make sure it's preserved.
Well, there is a museum in Metropolis, Illinois that you could take it to. And actually,
Exactly.
now that I think, no, actually, as far as climates go, that would actually be a bad place for it.
It's very
They have-
tricky, but the
They
fact
have terrible flooding there. A lot of stuff has been destroyed in Metropolis, Illinois, because of flooding.
because there was no Superman to stop it.
Well, you're not wrong.
He would have freezed the flooding waters and brought it over to a factory where there was a chemical fire and dropped it over.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
That was actually one of my favorite parts of Superman 3. Like, that was an actual Superman acting like Superman moment. When
That was the kind of thing
fire.
that they did in the comics
Yeah,
at the time.
yeah.
I'm like, okay, this is really taking a comic book concept and bringing it into, And yeah, no, is it realistic? No, it wasn't realistic when it was in the comics either. But,
But I like the fact that there was this scientist in there, and he says, I'm here to get you out. And he says, no, I have to stay here and monitor these chemicals, because if these go bad, these evaporate or something, if this fire doesn't stop, we're going to have an acid cloud forming. And what I liked about it is it shows that this man, the scientist who was working for the plant, he's still staying behind, even though he's risking his own life staying there. But
it's demonstrating that it's not just people with superpowers that are the heroes, right?
Yes.
And what's really interesting about that too is it sets up the story for later on when Superman goes, I can use that. Let me go get some of that acid stuff.
Exactly.
Because he needs to take something that doesn't register as a dangerous product on a scan until it heats up.
But could destroy the evil supercomputer.
Very, very clever writing. Very clever writing.
Yeah, there's some good stuff in Superman 3. Some of the execution was off. I blame the director. I don't blame the script for that movie.
I agree.
Moving on to we got some Last Ronin news. Motion picture. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles R-rated movie Last Ronin on hold at Paramount as studio develops a new live-action version that nobody's going to want to watch. I'm sorry, wait, no, I added that last part. Paramount is betting big on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Why'd you give it to Seth Rogen? I'm sorry.
Well,
I'm sorry. I can't stop this. This is just... A new live-action film is in the works from producer Neil H. Moritz, known for the Studio Sonic the Hedgehog series, which I do like. No other details have been confirmed, but Paramount reportedly wants a family-friendly take on the Turtle brothers known as Leonardo, Donatello, Raphael, Michelangelo, according to Hollywood Reporter. With the kid-friendly edict in mind, Paramount is putting a pin in the plans for R-rated live-action adaptation Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Last Ronin 2024. That project, based on the bloody and intense graphic novel series, was being developed by former Warner Brothers chief Walter Hamada, and I remember him.
Jeez.
He got killed.
And this comes from like he was saying, from the graphic novel, so roots. Remember, I was saying earlier in the stream that these Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles have always, in their adaptations, the cartoons, the movies, have always been family friendly for the purpose of marketing, right? To a larger audience, to families. But that's not what they were if you were like, as we always say, being true to, if you were being true to the source material, like we're always talking about. So I get where they were going with this and where they're coming from.
Why don't they just why don't? Here's what I'll say. Whatever our thoughts were on that Joker movie, what Warner Brothers did with that was they set the budget low, but allowed the creative freedom for people to make an R-rated Joker movie, and they could do that with this. It doesn't have to be this huge budget. You can do stuff
Right.
with. I mean, the Astron 6 people they made that movie. What was it called? Never mind. I forget what it was called. But
Well, I feel like they're also missing the boat.
Psycho Gorehead. That's what it was. Psycho Gorehead.
I feel like they're missing a lot of opportunities with. Why does it always have to be live action? I feel like there is a lot of room for animation that isn't being taken advantage of. I think we've actually forgotten not only the value but the purpose. Why do certain things work in animation and not in live action? We tend to poo-poo some of the execution of live action because we're not paying attention to the fact that some things shouldn't be live action. Okay? Snow White never should have been live action. When you have scenes like the original Snow White where she wakes up in her bed and the seven dwarves are at the foot of the bed and their noses go pop, 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 pop over the top.
Yes.
That only works in a cartoon. If you turn that into a movie, these live action dwarves peeking over the bed are seven creepy guys looking at a girl sleeping. It doesn't work. Don't do that.
Well, they did the animated Mutant Mayhem movie, but the trouble was it was Seth Rogen involved, and it just didn't look good.
And there's a whole other set of problems there, but
Tom from Midnight's Edge had a rant about it. He was saying that when he was a kid, it's like all the adult mothers didn't understand, like saying, "Oh, you just like the turtles because they're disgusting and they're about slime and all this." No, that's not what they're about. But then he sees this movie, and that's what it was about. It's like all the gross humor, stuff like that. It's like that's not really what the turtles were about.
But that also kind of proves his point, right? It's like, well, that's not what it was about. But when you go and you make something that is about that, it doesn't work because that was never what it was meant to be about.
Well, we'll see if they get this next live-action movie right. I don't want another origin story. Do not do another Turtles origin story.
It's pointless, yeah.
Stop with the origin stories. Just okay. Moving on.
The only reason to do an origin story is if there isn't something that people can reference, right? If a movie... Look, we've been seeing a great deal of success for franchise films that are sequels to things that were 30 years old. They didn't have to remake Ghostbusters to do Ghostbusters Afterlife, for example. Their assumption is, if you're a fan, you've already seen it. If you're not a fan, you can see it. Let's move on. You can get caught up on your own time. Let's go.
Yeah.
You know?
Kevin Spacey.
Oh.
We've talked about him. What?
No, yeah, I had a little bit of fun with the thumbnail on this one. I used AI to generate a piece of artwork of Kevin Spacey as a homeless beggar.
That's what. Okay, I was trying to pinpoint, and now I realize that was Kevin Spacey. Okay.
Yeah.
Kevin Spacey says he's homeless and living in hotels. Kevin Spacey announced in an interview with The Telegraph that he is officially homeless after his Hollywood film career came crashing down and various sexual assault allegations. I am living in hotels. I'm living in Airbnbs. Yikes. The two-time Oscar winner said, I'm going where the work is. I literally have no home. That's why I'm attempting to explain. The costs over these last 7 years have been astronomical. I've had very little coming in and everything going out. Spacey fought back tears during an interview with Piers Morgan Uncensored in June 2024 when he first disclosed that his home in Baltimore was going into foreclosure because he owed millions in legal fees due to various sexual assault claims against him. Spacey had been living in the city since House of Cards, started production in 2012. He was fired from the show by Netflix in 2017 due to alleged sexually inappropriate behavior on set. I'm not sure where I'm going to live now. I can't pay the bills that I owe, Spacey told Morgan at the time. Since claims of Spacey's alleged assaults and inappropriate behavior first arose in the wake of the Me Too movement, hashtag in 2017, several legal cases have been brought against him. A jury in New York concluded in 2022 that Spacey did not, I won't use that word, but assault actor Anthony Rapp, who had accused him of this assault in the early 1980s when Rapp was 14. The next year, UK court found Spacey not guilty of 9 charges of sexual assault from 4 complaints. Several other charges and lawsuits have been dropped. Spacey has denied all the allegations. We are in touch with some extremely powerful people who want to put me back into work. Spacey told The Telegraph about returning to high-profile acting gigs, and that will happen in its right time. But I will also say what I think the industry seems to be waiting for is to be given permission by someone who is in some position of enormous respect or authority. So my feeling is that Martin Scorsese or Quentin Tarantino call my manager, Evan Lowenstein, tomorrow. It will be over, he added. I will be incredibly honored and delighted when that level of talent picks up the phone. Various actors spoke to Telegraph last year and championed Spacey's return to Hollywood. Sharon Stone called Spacey a genius and said, I can't wait to see Kevin back at work. Liam Neeson said that our industry needs him and misses him greatly. So it sounds to me like this is all panned out and that these were all false allegations. Is that what I'm saying?
No. Let's not go that far. But what we can say is they were never proven. That's why they're still saying alleged. And herein lies the problem. Yes, he could be guilty, but just remember, anyone can accuse you of anything. And you should not have to prove your innocence. They have to prove your guilt. And if they don't, then you need to forget about it. It never happened. It's Fugazi. I'm sorry, but without proof, it didn't happen. That is what our whole legal system is based on. Innocent until proven guilty. And I am getting sick and tired of seeing people that they were not found guilty. There is no evidence.
We have had actors.
We have people that have actually killed people on the sets of movies, and nothing happens to them.
And then crash their car because of an evil dumpster truck that was going to hit them.
You know?
No, I'm kidding. Anyway.
And look, again, I want to be very clear. He may very well be guilty of these things, but until you have the proof, he's not. And he deserves to be able to work.
I don't know that he is. I'm sorry. The more I hear about this, you're right. I can't say one way or the other.
With a lack of evidence, what is it? A lack of evidence?
Here's what it was. He was a closeted gay man. He probably did have affairs with younger actor men who were probably doing it maybe to get a heads up in their career, and that didn't pan out, and they got angry. I think that's what happened. And be that as it may,
I don't know if anyone realizes this, but Anthony Rapp is kind of putting a dark spot on his own career. People are going to look at him and go, do I want to hire him? Is he going to accuse me of something?
I don't know. I mean, that's the problem. Well, we had that whole issue with Frank Langella a couple years ago with that Netflix show, the Fall of the House Usher show, where he got kicked off it because of some actresses complained about during a scene where they were supposed to be making out or something, and then he got let go, and his career sort of got destroyed over what I felt was nothing. I said he was acting. That's what he was saying. That's what you do in these scenes, and that's what the scene called for. And he got let go, and we've not seen him again. Oh, what's that?
Exactly. I want to say hi to Bobby Blankenship. Welcome. Good to see you. I don't know this song, so unfortunately I can't sing it.
Freddie Rodriguez, who used to be on he was on Bull a while back, and he got
Uh-huh.
canned from that show internally,
Mhm.
like it was an internal investigation.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that was about because I never got to hear who accused him of what or where, but he didn't get used for the final season. And I feel like he didn't even get a trial. They just kind of, and his career, I don't think has recovered from that. But what did he do? We don't even know.
Right.
And
Exactly.
it's
But
ridiculous. And he was like one of the main characters on Bull. And they
But
just let him go for
unfortunately,
the final
that's the
season.
same kind of thing that happens. This isn't him being brought up on charges of anything. This is losing a job because of an accusation. And unfortunately, a company has a right to say, you know what, whether it's true or not, this isn't worth the PR or the problem, or we want to
Is it
avoid
worth
the
having a
problems.
decent final season? Because you kind of ruined it in the final season for
Well,
other reasons besides that.
That's a decision
They
they
don't
make,
care.
and it leads to the end of a successful show. And maybe they said it's better to get rid of this show than end up, being responsible for, having to settle out of court for some big lawsuit or something.
It's ridiculous. This is why this is why TV's the wasteland it is, though. I'm telling you,
It absolutely is. The legalities and what companies are responsible for, and the way lawsuits work is has always been a problem. But that's kind of a separate issue. This is more about again, people making accusations and being able to end careers just based on an accusation. This is a real problem.
And Johnny Depp, of course, we mentioned. I don't know if I talked about him during the stream, but yeah, same thing with and that destroyed a movie franchise, Fantastic Beasts.
Right.
Now they're having to start Harry Potter all over again because of it. It's ridiculous.
Yep.
Final story of the night: Twin Peaks DP Ronald Victor Garcia on shaping the look of David Lynch TV masterpiece. Yeah. And with something positive, basically the good old
absolutely. Days. And just a reminder to everybody that has enjoyed Live from Sparkwood 21 every Tuesday. We are taking a hiatus until after the holidays, but we will be returning over on Deleted Scenes channel after the holidays. We're going to start over again, kind of a knowing what I know now kind of thing. We did a watch party every week of all the episodes of Twin Peaks and the movie and so forth, as if you'd never seen it before, because many hadn't, and in Deleted's case, he hadn't seen the third season yet. So we went with no spoilers. Now we're gonna go into it full spoiler mode. We've all seen it. If you haven't, I'm sorry. Maybe check it out, on your own before you get to us. But in the new year, we will start again from. Maybe we'll just start with Fire Walk with Me, so we can watch it in chronological order. And
it'll be exciting.
Yeah.
And just so you know, on Amazon currently, maybe other places as well, they do have the complete Blu-ray box set, including the movie Fire Walk with Me, on sale for I think $43 for the entire.
Nice.
That includes the original series, the Showtime series, and the movies, and the missing pieces. So if you want to get it, as we say, own physical media. Oh, and I wanted to point something out. I don't know if Jessica Hardo says he has a PlayStation 4, but if you want to get the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Splinter Fate game that got a physical release it's available on PS5, Switch, Xbox, and PlayStation 4. You get a physical copy, $19.99. $19.99.
Nice.
Even comes with a package of trading cards.
Interesting.
And comes with the DLC for Casey Jones included as well. So, and a digital art book too. So that's kind of neat. For $20, that's a great deal. That's a steal, I think. Okay, so I'll read this article. The Camera Image Film Festival is paying tribute to the late great David Lynch this year, and one of the greatest drawing is a steady crowd is Torun, if I'm saying that correctly, is Ronald Victor Garcia, the cinematographer who helped define the look of Twin Peaks and its feature companion, Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me. Lynch is most closely linked to Frederick Elms, a racer-red blue velvet wild at heart, whose deep blacks, stark contrast, and practical light sources grounded the director's surreal imagery, as well as Peter Deming, Lost Highway, Mulholland Drive, Inland Empire, whose clean composition and abrupt shifts in exposure color shaped Lynch's later dream logic aesthetic. But Garcia's work on Twin Peaks is equally fundamental to the Lynch palette. He wanted something warm, Garcia says, of Lynch's vision for the series. Everybody shoots in the Northwest up in Washington State in blue. The forest in blue, cold colors. David didn't want blue. He wanted warmth. After several days of testing in Seattle and a near mutiny at the local lab, Garcia landed on the combination that defined the show, an 85 correction filter paired with new pure glass LLC filter that pushed the shadows toward a yellow-orange tone. The final piece was Fuji stock. The Fuji film could really reach into the shadow area and make the dark shadows warmer, just enough to where it changed the look of the film, he says. Garcia recalls that Lynch rarely gave technical directions, preferring metaphors. When shooting the river pan that appears in the opening credits, Garcia moved too quickly for Lynch's taste. I was used to television. You got 3 seconds and it's cut, so I was speeding along. He kept saying, Ron, it's too fast. We did that 5 times. Finally, he looked at me and said, Ron, think underwater. I pictured myself in a swimming pool trying to walk against the thickness of water, and that was it. Perfect. Later, while Garcia was shooting establishing shots in Washington for season 1, Lynch called from Los Angeles with a single instruction. Ron, too weird. Think mysterious, he said, before hanging up. It was the same with his actors, Garcia adds. Because of his meditation, he was present every moment. He was able to see who he was talking to and reach into your psyche without many words. Did you know this? Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I feel like we're still learning new things about Lynch.
Yeah.
Garcia's confidence with Fuji stock underpinned all of this. My whole career was Fujifilm, he says. As a young independent filmmaker, he learned its nuances out of necessity and television the features that gave him latitude. Kodak didn't. Fuji spaces between my fingers as the light went through reduced crosstalk, he explains, allowing faster setups, fewer gels, and more flexibility in mixed lighting. An advantage when working at Lynch's pace. On Firewalk with Me, that pace accelerated dramatically. Garcia shot more than 1 million feet of film in 42 days on one camera. David got used to me shooting very fast, he says, a rhythm that opened space for Lynch to explore performance and generated the vast body of material later assembled in the missing pieces. Garcia's work with Fuji also caught the attention of Michael Mann, who recruited him for season 2 of NBC's Crime Story. Mann's directive couldn't have been more different. I do not want you to hand me a mundane image. If you fail, we'll just reshoot it. Mann pushed Garcia to step out of the box, then left him completely alone. The contrast remains clear in Garcia's mind. Shooting with Michael Mann, it was like being on a bullet train in Japan. Shooting with David Lynch was like being on a canoe on a very calm lake. That's interesting. 2 directors with their distinct styles. Looking back over his decades-long career, Garcia, 85, is blunt about the impact of new technology and contemporary television aesthetics. I hate to say this, but I think it all looks the same, he says. And it's because of AI, computer graphics, the technology, and the special effects taking over the whole ball of wax. I'm here at Camera Image to watch foreign films, not Hollywood films, because I'm interested in what the cinematographers are doing. I think the creativity comes out of having not enough equipment and not enough time and having to find a solution. In an era defined by uniformity, Garcia's work with Lynch stands out for the same reason it did in 1990, a handmade visual approach built on film stock filtration and in-camera experimentation, and a director-cinematographer collaboration that refused to settle for the expected. Good article.
Yeah.
And is that it?
Think so.
Is that it? Oh, my goodness. Well, anyway, I used to... in film school, they'll tell you that, film is painting with light.
Yes, that's true.
Yes. Yeah. So. Oh, Jessica Carter says, PS4 TMNT for $20, mine. Yeah, I think they have it at other locations, too, for 20. I think Best Buy has it, too. Just pick it up for whatever system you have, and you get the trading cards with it, too.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what the plot of Splinter Fate is?
No.
Splinter gets kidnapped by the Foot Clan. I'm sure there's more to it, though.
Jeez, that seems pretty straightforward to me.
But that's what's cool is instead of it's a roguelike, and in roguelikes you go into dungeons a lot, right? Dungeons.
Right.
In this game, though, the sewer is your dungeon. And
Sure.
you're fighting all these monsters. Like I think I fought Leatherhead as my first boss in the sewers, so it was neat.
Cool.
That's it. I can't believe it's all done.
Yeah.
Another week gone by, but we'll be back next week for another Geeky Geezers. But in the meantime, I hope all of you have a very happy Thanksgiving with your loved ones, or even by yourself. You can just get yourself a Hungry Man dinner and cry into it. I'm sorry, wait, no, I'm being mean. I'm being mean. That wasn't funny. Okay.
Guys, we have a full week coming up. I'm not taking any time off. I'll be doing all the regular stuff.
Spend it, yes. If you have no one, spend it with Troy and Netter. They will be along, yes.
we will be here for you all day Thursday. Well, not all day. I may sleep in on Thursday, but I'll still have liquid lunch all week, including Thursday. We're going to be doing some Thanksgiving movies and specials, rewatches over on my channel and Netter's channel on Thursday. Come hang out with us. Like I said, movie rewatches. If you have the ability to broadcast to your TV or whatever, go ahead and open up Cosme on your wherever you're at. If you're at your family's place or whatever, you can watch. We'll certainly be watching Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Probably be watching Son-in-Law. There'll be some other movies.
Beethoven.
Movie about Black Friday.
Black Friday we'll be talking about on Friday for
Last Call.
The movie Black Friday.
Yes, I know the movie Black Friday.
Well, the Thanksgiving movie by Eli Roth.
We did watch that last year.
What'd you think? Patrick Dempsey, huh?
It was actually really good. It was actually really good. But so that's what we got coming up this week. Again, members, a movie night tomorrow, Logan's Run. Remember, if you're not a member, you could be a member of my channel for as little as $2 a month. Consider it, please. If you've been gifted a membership, you enjoy hanging out with us, hopefully you decide to renew and stick around. And that's all I got.
But I did want to mention, though, you know what my favorite part of that Thanksgiving movie was?
What's that?
Remember when they're throwing the hot party and they're kind of, charging people at the door to get into the party, right? And they're talking about, the guy's talking about Black Sabbath, and everybody thought Black Sabbath was done after Ozzy left, but then you got this charming little imp named Dio taking over the reins, and then the teenagers said, "What's Black Sabbath?" And he said, "You're not getting in." Remember that? Get out. Remember that? It's like, I remember.
Deleted Scenes reminds us that he's got reserved seats coming up in just a little bit. And if you are on my channel right now, stay right where you're at, and I will shepherd you over there.
Yeah, but I guess that's...
Anybody else? There is the link for you. Go over and... just remind Deleted Scenes that I'm his buddy, and I'm sending people over to him just like he does with us.
Who's your friend?
Who's your buddy? I am, right? Okay, I'm done.
But, yeah.
Well, I would like to thank everyone for being here, and for being so encouraging and engaging with us. You all are Osmo, and we appreciate you so very much. Like we were saying earlier, if you don't have anything to do on Thanksgiving, just join us on mine or Troy's channel, or both. You can pop in between either. And join us for some Thanksgiving movies.
Because you're not just our fan. You're not just our
You're
viewers.
not
You are our
friends.
family.
You're our family.
Exactly.
Yes, there you go.
That's what he was trying to say. That's what he was trying to get out.
Yes, and that's what I meant with my callous little comment earlier. Don't cry into your Hunger Man dinner. Check out Troy's channel. Anyway,
there you go.
Moving on. Yeah, I think that about finishes up for the week. But especially tune in this Friday. We're gonna have fun. Troy may have a rant or two, because we're gonna talk about great Black Friday days of old. And who knows, maybe we'll have stories on Black Friday for next Sunday if something ridiculous happens over
Something happens over the weekend. Yeah, exactly, right. We'll see.
Catch y'all later. Bye-bye.
Take it easy. Bye-bye.